All right, let's get right into it. Have you ever looked at someone and just wondered how they make success look so effortless, while others, maybe even ourselves, just seem to struggle? Well, back in 1960, a book came out with a really revolutionary answer. And get this, it wasn't from a psychologist. It was written by a plastic surgeon, Dr. Maxwell Maltz, and it was called Cybernetics. So Dr. Maltz wrote this after years and years in the operating room. He had a front row seat to human transformation. He saw firsthand that changing how someone looked on the outside could completely reshape their personality and their life. But, and this is where it gets interesting, he also found a bizarre mystery. Sometimes it didn't work at all. And that puzzle led him to an incredible discovery about the human mind. So, here's the game plan for this explainer. We're going to follow Dr. Maltz's journey step by step. We'll start with that strange discovery he made. Then we'll uncover the secret blueprint that's running your life right now. We'll look at the inner success machine we all have, learn exactly how to reprogram it, and finally figure out how to capture that elusive winning feeling. You know, it all kicked off with this one persistent puzzle. Dr. Maltz, he was brilliant at his job. He could take a face with scars, with defects, and make it normal. And you'd think that would be like a magic wand for a person's confidence, right? But what he found was, it just wasn't that simple. It was truly bizarre. He saw that most of his patients, they'd get a new face and totally blossom. But then there were others who didn't change one bit. Their appearance could be dramatically improved, but on the inside, they still acted, and they still behaved as if they had their old, quote-unquote, ugly face. And this was the million-dollar question that set everything in motion. He realized that his scalpel, it could change the physical, but there was something way deeper going on. If the reflection in the mirror wasn't the real secret to confidence and success, then what in the world was? And the answer he found is what he would later call the most important psychological discovery of the century. It's a concept that's running in the background for all of us, whether we have any idea it's there or not. And the concept is beautifully simple and incredibly powerful. The self-image. Think of it as your own internal blueprint of yourself. It's your brain's own little idea of the sort of person I am. And it's built totally unconsciously from all our past experiences, our wins, our losses, and everything people have told us about ourselves. And once that blueprint is set, it controls, well, pretty much everything. And Maltz figured out that this self-image has two critical features. First, and this is a big one, you will always act in a way that's consistent with how you see yourself. No exceptions. If your self-image is that of a failure, you'll find a way to fail. But here's the second part, the really revolutionary part. That self-image isn't carved in stone. It can be changed. Okay, so if this self-image is running the show, how does it actually work? I mean, how does it physically guide our behavior? Well, Dr. Maltz found the answer in what was then a brand new science called cybernetics. Just think about it for a second. Your brain and your nervous system, they make up this unbelievably complex goal-seeking machine. Maltz wanted to know how this machine automatically steers you toward the goals, whether they're good or bad, that are laid out in your self-image. And this is the core metaphor of the whole book, and it's brilliant. Maltz realized that our brain works like a servo mechanism, the exact same kind of guidance system that was used in goal-seeking torpedoes back in World War II. We all have an automatic, goal-striving machine built right in. And here's how that principle works. A torpedo doesn't just travel in a perfect straight line. No way. It gets a target, it launches, and then it starts making mistakes. It gets what's called negative feedback, telling it that it's off course, and then it automatically corrects until, boom, it hits the target. Our brains do the exact same thing when we learn to do anything, whether it's riding a bike or hitting a sales goal. Mistakes aren't failures, they're just feedback for the system. Now here's the kicker. This incredible machine inside you, it's completely impersonal. It doesn't care. You are the operator. So if you feed it a positive, clear goal, like I'm going to become a confident public speaker, it becomes a success mechanism. But if you feed it a negative, fearful goal, like I have to avoid embarrassing myself, it becomes a failure mechanism, using every safe choice you make to confirm your inability and achieve failure. Okay, this all sounds great in theory, but how do we actually take the controls? How do we stop feeding that failure mechanism and start intentionally programming the success mechanism? Dr. Maltz gives us the keys to the control room. This right here is the game changer. It's a wild but proven psychological fact. If you imagine an experience with enough vivid sensory detail, your brain and your nervous system react as if it's really happening. And that is the secret weapon for reprogramming your self-image. Your imagination is basically a flight simulator for your mind. You can create synthetic memories of success. I mean, there have been actual experiments showing that mentally practicing basketball free throws can be almost as effective as physically being on the court. And this works for everything: chess, sales pitches, public speaking, golf, you name it. You are literally building new, successful memories for your internal guidance system to draw from. Maltz had this great way of putting it. He said our negative beliefs, I'm not good at math, I'm just an awkward person, they're just a form of self-hypnosis. We've accepted these ideas as truth without any real evidence. And by using our imagination to create these new, positive experiences, we can literally de-hypnotize ourselves. We can break the trance. So, how long does this take? Well, you've probably heard this number before, and it comes directly from Maltz's observations. 21 days. He noticed with his surgery patients that it took about 21 days for them to get used to their new face. So he suggested that as a minimum time frame, 21 days of consistent practice for a new self-image to start to feel real and natural. So we've learned to visualize and practice in our minds. But what's the ultimate emotional state we're shooting for? What's the high-octane fuel that really makes this success mechanism fire on all cylinders? I mean, this quote from the Masters champion, Dr. Carey Middlecoff, just says it all. He didn't just hope he would win, he felt like he was going to win. And notice that feeling came 4 days before the tournament even started. It wasn't the result of winning, it was a cause of it. And that's really the ultimate goal of psycho-cybernetics. You use your imagination not just to picture success, but to recapture the feeling of past successes and attach that feeling to your future goals. When you can generate that winning feeling in advance, it fires up your success mechanism. And suddenly, achieving the goals starts to feel natural, almost inevitable. So, at the end of the day, the person you are today is really just the result of the blueprint you've accepted for yourself. But as Dr. Maltz showed us, that blueprint can always be redrawn. This isn't magic, it's a mechanism, and it's waiting for instructions. So the only real question left is, what new target are you going to give it?